Hi, everyone. I'm Cyd Charisse.
And I'm David Bosher.
And you're listening to Destroy the Hairdresser,
where we teach you to salon differently.
If you are still using a front desk in your salon, it may be time to future-proof your business with Aura Salonware. Aura allows you and your team to check clients out from any device. That means there's no need for a front desk or front desk overhead. What's even more amazing is that clients can check themselves out using the Aura app from their own device. With Aura Salonware, you can finally let technology streamline your business. Start removing your front desk today by visiting aurasalonware.com/DTH to receive special discounts and promos.
Give your clients great hair with fewer products and make more money with less inventory. Introducing Hair Story, a mindful and innovative brand. Hair Story's game-changing product, New Wash, cleans and conditions without harsh foams or detergents, restoring your scalp's natural balance. Made with gentle, biodegradable ingredients and recyclable packaging, it's good for your hair and the planet. With Hair Story Pro, earn a 25% commission on client purchases either in person or online. Plus, enjoy free education, wholesale pricing, and special client discounts. Try New Wash for free and get pro access today at hairstory.com/DTH.
Do you remember that show from the 90s, Bear in the Big Blue House?
Yes.
Well, my kid loves it. And it's like the only thing that makes him happy. And so all I'm singing is the theme song from it. Like I wake up and I'm like, just the big blue house. And I'm like, why?
I think like children's TV is part of a larger government takeover.
Probably. This is from the 90s, 97.
Right, where they're brainwashing the adults with music. I said this is the Illuminati. This is how they get shit.
God. They're like, we're going to keep their minds busy so they can't make adult decisions because all they're doing is singing the big blue house.
And what's the big blue house stand for? Big Pharma.
You're so stupid. Who's the bear? Oh my God.
That's a good question. But then, women choose the
also,
bear.
he's kind of the bear. I don't know if anybody's seen this, but the bear's kind of like,
he's like a bear in the gay
family. Community. I'm like, okay, Daddy Bear, and he's in charge of all the other bears and like animals that live in his house, and I'm like, what is this?
And then there's like a twink crackhead rat.
I'm obsessed with that rat. His name's Tutter, and he's got a Brooklyn accent, and he goes, "Hey, Bear," and it's my favorite thing in the world. And so Asher and I walk around the house going, "Bear." So if you've seen that show, you should go watch it or have your kids watch it. It's on Disney Plus.
Bear in the Big Blue House. Good night, Moon.
Good night, Moon. Okay. We have a message from the hotline.
We got a lot of messages.
I know. But
we got voicemails. We got messages. We got keep them coming.
As we were about to record, you were late to recording because someone was calling into the hotline and leaving a message.
I love it.
I was like, you're lying. No one.
Do you want to remind the people of what the number is?
Yes. The number is 201-564-5007.
And again, this is an anonymous hotline that you can text or call and leave a voicemail about your stories, about your questions, about your rants and your raves. And we will answer them here anonymously, yet publicly on our podcast. So we will not share your name or your information. Some people have asked us to shout them out, which I'm afraid to do because, let's do it.
We have it in writing of approval.
Right, well,
and if they want the shout out,
we're going to shout them out.
We'll give them the shout out.
I think the one we're talking about today is a shout out. Okay. So, Dear Destroy the Hairdresser. It's a novel.
It's okay. We have time.
Oh wait, this isn't a shout out. So it says, Dear Destroy the Hairdresser, I am writing to discuss a recent challenge I've encountered at the commission salon I work at. I've been working diligently to build rapport with the clients here in the small rural town I live in. I'm originally from LA, and recently I received a negative review from a client who was unsure about a haircut recommendation that I made. Despite the fact that she ultimately agreed to the haircut and received positive feedback, the next day she left a negative review based on our initial conversation. This incident has left me questioning my approach. I've since received similar feedback from other clients, and I'm unsure whether I should compromise on my professional judgment to avoid these situations in the future. Additionally, I've been reflecting on my experience here in town. I've faced challenges related to cultural differences and discrimination, which have affected my confidence and well-being. As a result, I'm considering returning to Los Angeles, where I feel more prepared to thrive as a stylist in a larger, more diverse environment. I would appreciate your guidance on how I can enhance my skills and approach to better navigate these challenges and prepare for a potential move back to a city environment. Your support and insight would be invaluable as I consider my next steps.
First off, thank you.
Yes,
Second
thank
off,
you.
run, Boog!
Run, bitch! No, but
I have so
there's
many
a lot
things
to unpack.
to say.
There's a lot to unpack.
Yeah, I also want to know why, like, maybe if you're listening, if this is you, I would love to know why you moved from LA, because there's so many, but there's so many like you moved, but then you can also go back so effortlessly. Like, I'm like, well, why did you move in the first place? You know, what were you gaining? Because there's also so many like quieter places outside of LA that you could still work in LA and still participate.
Everyone
in the
who
city
knows
life.
Me knows that I'm not a California person.
You're not a fan.
So the exodus of LA, to the person that wrote this, I completely understand why you left.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same reason why people leave New York. There comes a point where you're like, I'm fucking exhausted, I'm tired, I don't know what to fucking do next. Maybe I go back home to my hometown, maybe I move in with my parents, maybe I pick an easier life. I will say, as a gay person, I've lived in smaller towns. I've faced discrimination in that way. And of course, I think as a minority group,
I've had that happen in bigger cities too. Like, it's everywhere.
It's definitely like, it's funny because like when you're discriminated against in a bigger city, you still feel safe because you're not the only one, right? But I think when you're like in a small town and there's discrimination, targeted. You're like, you feel targeted and you feel like there's no place for you to go. So I get that feeling. However, you should never accept discrimination. But I do love being a big fish in a little pond.
Mm-hmm.
And when we live in smaller places or places that just aren't LA or New York or big cities, what I'm hearing this person say is like, I want to give these people maybe these unique haircuts, cool styles. And I'm now living in a place where like hair is just kind of like, regular maintenance, status quo, basic cuts, basic colors. There's a lot to unpack. I think, moving back to LA because you feel safer, absolutely.
It's a quick fix.
But I also think staying in a small town and cleaning up and making that money and building a business, I like that idea. I don't know if I would ever open I'd like to open a salon in New York City, but like it's not. There's so much competition here but if I went to like upstate or if I went back to my hometown, I could open a salon and just clean that place up.
Yes. Like you said, there's so much happening. A couple things were said, so I'm trying to like keep my mind in my list that I'm creating. One of the things they said was, should I compromise my professional judgment? And I'm like, absolutely not. I have so many questions about the salon because I'm wondering if this is like sometimes it's easier to say like everyone is like this. Everyone doesn't want to pay this price. Everyone doesn't do this, right? It's like everyone syndrome, where that's not really the case. Like, could it just be the environment that this salon is housing? And there are people, because I mean, we've had hundreds and hundreds of students be in small towns all over this country and even outside of the country and charge the highest in their area and completely thrive based on how they were marketing themselves, what they were doing to connect in their community, their talent level, right? So I do think that there's a level of like, yes, the easy fix is like run back to LA. But at the same time, like, could you try a different salon? Could you go to a different space? When they talked about the client getting upset about what they had a they confirmed review. On in the in the consultation. So I saw this TikTok the other day from a lawyer. And the lawyer had played a clip of a nail salon where the salon, like literally the nail specialist was like, they agreed upon it. It was fine. And it was just a color. It wasn't like a design or anything. It was like blue. And the client said yes. And I know, because I get my nails done all the time. They always, especially if you're doing another color, they'll like put a little sample on your finger to agree before they do all of it. Right? Unless you're like,
so timed to.
Yes. So this nail specialist did this. And then at the end, the client goes, I don't like the color. And said, I'm not paying for this. And the nail specialist was like, I'm not redoing it. Like, I have another client. Like, it's not happening. Right.
Yeah.
And so the client flipped out, was like, I'm not paying it, but it was all on film. Right. And the lawyer was like, because it was like, who was in the wrong? The lawyer was like, the client is in the wrong, because there was a moment where the client agreed upon it and made the decision to yes and move forward. Like, she had to pay for that service. And so I think about that too, a lot of people abuse and misuse us in, we are still a service industry, even though DTH is trying to get everyone to change that mindset. But we are used and abused. And so many people will, if they're not happy with whatever, even if they decided that they liked it or wanted that, will absolutely do anything they can to get their money back. And if they don't get their money back, a negative review is usually the threat. So I wouldn't take that so personal.
I gotta be honest, I love a negative review. Have y'all read the reviews on our podcast?
Let crazy show they're crazy. Like, I'm like, whatever.
When I look at negative reviews,
you think you can? No, that's what I want to say.
I want to apologize again for anyone's eardrums that were blown out for
just
that screen.
When Cyd's talking, just turn your radio. I tried.
Your radio,
yes.
Like,
what am I?
Turn your radio down.
Okay, I try so hard, y'all. Like, I'm consciously thinking of lowering my voice all the time.
It's the demons inside of you. They
gotta get out. They gotta get out. Let me be me. I whispered. There's restraint. Let me be me.
No, but I was going to say I love a negative review because when I look at salons, restaurants, anywhere that I'm going, and I see negative reviews, I never really think like, wow, this place must be bad. I always think like, what a crazy person to take the time.
Same.
And I've been that crazy person. I've taken time to write a nasty review because I'm so
I've never
mad.
done it.
I've done it one time. And
I think about it, but then I'm like, oh, I'm too tired.
I did it one time, and the way it was handled, like, I was being ridiculous, but the way they handled it was also, they were like, in the comments, they go, show us the proof. And I'm like, that's not how you, like, a professional response to a review. However, I would take a screenshot of a bad review, and then I would make it my backdrop on my stories, and then I would go, I just got this negative review, and I would like to explain what happened. Like that, I'm all for.
Yeah, talk about it. If they're going to publicly leave the review, you have the right to publicly talk about it. And it's not, don't talk about it in like a, I'm defending myself way. Like, be like,
no, just like educate.
Educate, because it's okay sometimes. Like, negative feedback can also be really beneficial, right? Like, so, but I do think, like I said, I do think that people abuse it. And unfortunately, like, if they try to get a redo or whatever that looked like and they didn't get what they wanted, they'll leave a negative review. I'm a big fan of, we had a whole episode on reviews. It's sprinkled in there somewhere. But we, whenever I see negative reviews, the only time I believe negative reviews, if it's like constantly the same about the same thing.
Right.
Then like, if it's like, Sarah screwed my hair up and there's like 50 Sarah screwed my hair ups, I'm like, well, I'm not going to Sarah. But like, right. When it's just like, just off the wall, I don't believe it, like, at all. I'm actually more concerned if there's less reviews at all, good or bad.
Yes.
Because then I'm like, well, why is no one even good talking about you? And people
also hair salon reviews.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're a hairdresser, you like know, like you're like, that's probably not what happened. They took my hair and it started smoking and burned off. And as a hairdresser, I'm like, because you had box color on it and you didn't tell them. Like, I already know what happened.
Yeah.
Like,
so our little submitter, which I'm not looking at, so I have no idea their name or gender anything about them besides what they submitted.
We're going to call them LA.
LA. Yes. So one of my best friends goes by LA. Okay. So if LA is the safe space and it's just honestly, you're like, I'm over it, go. But at the same time, like, what were the core reasons? That's why I said there's so much more to know. Like, what were the core reasons of actually like leaving? Because if those are heavy on your heart and you're like, I still want to make this work, like every change, every move, every new experience is going to be difficult. So it's like, I'm a big fan of like, give it all you got before you're like, I'm done kind of thing. So
also open your own space and change the environment.
Yeah.
You know, like
there are probably so many clients wanting to be with you. And I think that you're just not, I think you're at a salon where you're getting given clientele that is not ready for you. They're not ready for you.
Yeah. And I also think too, like if you are being discriminated against, build a space, open a salon that you can protect people. And you can I was going
to say, you're probably not the only one. And
you're not the only person feeling that way.
Probably a lot of people feeling like they need help. Like so much help. Also, some great resources. If anybody's looking for information on any of that, I would go to Dress Code Project or Texture versus Race and talk with those two companies. They're incredible with talking about how to create safer, braver spaces in your communities.
And when you're ready to open a salon, give us a call and we'll help you do it.
Is there a ghost behind you?
It's Griffin. It's my dog.
Ghost Griffin.
And now a word from our sponsors. Turn your passion for product into big profits with Genesis Private Label. Now is the time to launch your own line and take pride in the brand you've worked hard to make. Experience the prestige of formulas crafted in the same North American labs as top beauty brands. From vegan cruelty-free options to sustainable packaging, Genesis Private Label provides it all. Act now and enjoy free shipping on your sample kit. Fully refundable when you join within 30 days. Start making real profit by selling your own uniquely branded products. Visit genesisprivatelabel.com/DTH and begin your product making journey.
We at Destroy the Hairdresser, in a groundbreaking collaboration with health industry veterans, are bringing our listeners health plans that cover every professional in the beauty industry. This includes individuals, teams, and families. We are currently in the process of insuring thousands of beauty professionals in all 50 states. Healthcare benefits are now open, and guess what? There's no enrollment deadline. Sign up during any month of the year and gain health benefits quickly. Get your name on the list by visiting destroythehairdresser.com/hairdresser healthcare.